it out for me, letter by letter, T-H-A-T-G-U-Y, as if his name has lost significance with the distance he has traveled and the fading of his facial tattoos. That black guy in the corner, and always that same guy. On that guy spare changing again, that guy looking at you. That guy. He seems as though he has this bit prepared anytime anyone asks, perhaps hoping the repetition would be dramatic and garment him in mystery. I prop my Nike backpack against the brick wall and sit down beside him as though it's a regular occasion for me to talk with homeless strangers. After we chop it up for a while, his musk becomes my own, and the flies decide that our bodies are equally nourishing. As we speak, some passers-by smile, which that guy says is usually out of nervousness. When I ask for spare change, their excuses are never original. If they make eye contact, some turn away and put unlit screens up to their ears in manufactured conversation. It seems that some stare down at me as if I were homeless too. In 1996, a mud-splattered Buick dropped him off somewhere in rural Iowa. He never grew accustomed to what he describes as the trailer trash, hillbillies, inbreds, noisy tractor trucks, and greasy pork sandwiches of that region. There weren't many people to offer their spare change there either, so he hopped onto a rusty freight train that went along for a while and eventually unloaded near the dirt town that was Iowa City. At that time, there were no blacks, no Asians, no Mexicans, only Amish and other white people living there. In a circus of white travelers, the punk rockers, the hippies, the skaters, and the skinheads hung out at the Penn Mall, but within a few years, legislators in suits shooed them out of the city like I shoo the flies that indulge on our odor. He says he's one of the last travelers, and by the looks of his tattered blue hiking bag and weather-worn skin, I don't doubt it. You see that guy over there? At the ATM, that guy says to me. I nod. He's what we call a trust fund kid. He comes to this ATM at least once or twice a week, but you know what? He's just as homeless as I am. Startled by how profound he has suddenly become, I ask, what do you mean? Are you saying we're all homeless in a way, even if we aren't actually living on the streets? No, man, I mean homeless, he blurts. They're sleeping on the same cardboard that I am. When me and my crew were spare changing, they were going to the ATM. They still homeless, but they got resources. Parents, family members, trust funds, war bonds. When everyone else is sweating about money, these kids don't have no problems, compared to us at least. That's why these kids are always the ones buying drugs and being assholes. He goes on to tell me that he's glad people have stopped talking about Obama. When uneducated people criticize people of his color, he says all of Obama's problems became African Americans' problems. It reminds him of Jesse Jackson, who he calls the Obama of his childhood. Back then, he had gotten tired of hearing, Reverend Jackson did this wrong, Reverend Jackson did that wrong, in order to blame his entire people as a whole. But now, the white kids want to listen to hip-hop, watch black TV shows, and tell people that their best friend is black. That's my culture, not yours. Y'all can find a better way to make up for all that Jesse Jackson shit. Spotting a familiar biker in the street, that guy eagerly waves and calls the man over. The biker stops by the curb and levers his kickstand. I stand there fairly awkwardly as they talk about their history for a while, but I gather from their conversation that the Indian biker is a lawyer, literally like the Perry Mason of Iowa City, whose face never escapes the front page of local newspapers. They met in 2004, but only get to talk to each other a couple of times a year when the biker passes by that guy's spot. He asks that guy to pose for a picture, so he crosses his legs, sits up straight, places a cup to the right, and smiles. During the silence of the picture, I ask how they met.
You know somebody got beat up and killed on every bridge. He was the key witness.
That guy calls after him as he rides off. They found me in Santa Barbara. You still remember? Santa Barbara. I hear the lawyer turn back and say, it seems as if that guy knows everyone in town. I was kind of like one of those windows. The ones that when you scratch it, you can see inside. Bad drama, bad drama. You don't see it, but it's got some serious, serious problems. A few days later, I stride back into town to say goodbye before leaving the city. I'm uncertain exactly why, but the city, the quality of remoteness here, and the stories he's told make me feel like I need to. When I turn the corner past the trust fund kid's ATM to the spot where he said he'd be, I find instead a man with a long gray mane and a face more somber in some places than others. He leans on the same patch of brick wall that guy leaned on when we spoke. With his head bowed and a plastic cup beside his outstretched legs, he holds a sign that says, "Veteran, please help." I survey the block in hesitation. Maybe I'd arrive at the wrong corner. "Excuse me, sir," I say. The man gazes up at me, putting his hand up to shelter his eyes from the sun. "Have you seen that guy who's always sitting here asking for spare change? You know, that guy?" He laughs as if he's been asked this question before. "There's always someone sitting here asking for spare change." He swivels his head, checking to see if anyone is near enough to hear him, and then he continues, "Let me tell you a secret. We're all that guy." Grinning with satisfaction, he says, "So you got some spare change, kid, or what?"